Hello everyone, my name is Rich Whitehead, Mayor of Helotes, and today I have Jorge Cantu here, part of C6, and we're going to talk today about the new C6 contract for waste removal. I know there's a lot of questions, and we have a lot of answers for you, and we really want to embrace everything about the contract, what's included, what's not included, some of the questions about pricing. And I think to start things off, I really want to spend a few minutes telling you how we arrived at a contract. There's been a lot of questions about why my price went up, why it went up so much, and I want to describe the process. City government is required to go out for competitive bid, and C6 has had the contract through competitive bid for how many years have you been with Helotes?
We were going into our 18th year.
18th year. So nothing was a given. The fact that they were here for 17 years did not guarantee that they were going to collect garbage for the 18th year. So we went out for a competitive bid. We advertised it. We set standards of what we wanted for our collection, commercially, residentially, industrially, for roll-off containers. And we put a spec book together and sent it out to anybody that wanted to bid. And we had companies from really national companies, we had an international company, we had several local companies bid. And it was competitive in nature in the sense that we took the prices for residential, took the prices on a grid for various commercial services, and that was the pricing aspect of it. Additionally, we had components that had to do with their ability to be able to perform, whether or not they had financial stability, whether they had the ability to be able to provide reasonably new trucks to be able to service so we don't have oil spilling all over our streets. There were several components that came into this, so it wasn't just price, but price was a big factor. And when all was said and done, C6 had the lowest price with the greatest amount of services available for the city of Helotes as a whole, and so they won the contract. And congratulations, George.
I appreciate that, Mayor. Yes, to piggyback off what you said, it was the process was quite tedious. It was there were five companies that were participating in this, several that we are familiar with here locally and several internationally. And so after we were able to put our proposal together, the evaluation was conducted and questions were asked, different interview sessions, and ultimately the city elected to go with C6. So we're very happy, very pleased about that.
So one thing I would like to point out is that a lot of particularly commercial clients, there was a small increase on residential, but there was a large increase on commercial prices, and we have received a number of phone calls, and I'd like to address that a little bit. First of all, C6 was just not arbitrarily increasing their prices. It was a result of the contract, and that contract was bid under a completely different set of environmental factors. For example, the previous contract, diesel fuels, we all remember the fond day before a lot of political things happened here recently, and that was that fuel was about $2 a gallon for diesel. And at the time the contract was bid, we were looking at $4.28 diesel. And by the time we signed the contract, it was actually over $5 a gallon for diesel. So he's not getting $5 a gallon for diesel, he's getting $4.28, so he's actually operating at a loss at this time in that component. But that is the major reason why we had such a significant increase in cost, was really due to fuel costs. Of course, if you've been shopping or eating out, you obviously have seen that there's been prices across the board, which is a factor of labor as well. So that is basically the components of the price increases that you are experiencing. And really it's an unfortunate circumstance of the environment that we're in at this time. But I am happy to announce that unlike previous contracts, we do have a component in here that if fuel costs drop, you will see a fuel credit put on your bill. So if we end up returning to $3 diesel, $2 diesel, $1 diesel, that pro rata share of fuel cost will be visible as a fuel credit, meaning your bill will decrease. But this is a once a year adjustment, so if prices go up, there will be a fuel adjustment. As you've seen before, fuel surcharges. If fuel comes down, you will see a fuel credit. And this is part of what we wanted to have to make sure that we provide fair pricing and take the risk out of default by losses in case fuel went crazy. We've seen some crazy things happen in the Ukraine war and some really some external impacts that have affected the price of doing business in every venue. But we feel confident that this is going to provide you a tremendous amount of service at the best possible cost, and you have the best possible cost and service from all the people that bid, and I appreciate that. So there's actually been several changes to the contract, additional services that are made available, and I'm going to ask George to explain some of the changes. One that I will go ahead and share is that we're moving to 96-gallon canisters for both garbage and for recycling. So both of these canisters will be large wheeled canisters. The recycling is going to have a green lid on it, and so you'll have more room for recycles, so you don't have to worry about your cans and paper goods falling down the street out of the small bin. Those bins will be picked up shortly, and the new canisters will be delivered. When do you expect those to be delivered?
Mayor, we're anticipating that we will begin delivery of the 96-gallon carts for recycling around the 1st of September. So we should have the whole, we should have all delivered probably within the first two to 2.5 weeks of the month.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about some of the additional services that we're offering under this contract.
Well, as you mentioned, obviously the increased service for recycling capacity for residents is one of the initial changes. The other happens to be related to bulk and brush collection. We're now offering residents up to 6 opportunities for each type of debris to call into our office and schedule a collection. So you have the opportunity to put out up to 12 cubic yards, again 6 times per year, per type of debris. So it's actually 12 collections, 6 relegated or delegated to brush and 6 delegated for bulk. The new aspect of the program is it is an on-call service. You will need to contact our office either by phone at 375-0066 or by email at c6@c6disposal.com to request the schedule of the removal of this debris. We will supply you an order number to go along with that request, and so the order number is used so that we know A, it's on schedule, and B, you have something to reference. If for some reason the debris is not removed, you can contact our office and say, look, I scheduled this collection, here's my order number. We can pull it up by the order number. We can track it down and find out what happened as far as the not getting picked up. But again, I think it's a much improved method. It's increased service for residents, and I think everyone's going to like it.
So I know one thing I would have to. Previously, we only got brush picked up twice a year, and I would be out there cutting my trees and limbs and creating a big, huge, giant pile. And the real problem was nobody knew exactly when that date was going to happen. Everybody was trying to look online. We'd get phone calls and figure out when's it going to happen. Well, now we are scheduled. Seems what we're talking about, brush. This is a form that we have here. It's available on our website. Will also be on the back of quarterly billing statements.
Yes, this is the one that's on the back of the quarterly billing statements for those that receive paper bills. And also, if you get an electronic bill, you'll have a URL code that you can click on, and it will take you to the site where you can see what the schedules are.
So bottom line, taking a look here, brush will be picked up on Wednesdays. So every other month. So we're here at the end of July. We're getting ready to start into August. August will be brush month. August will be brush month. September will be bulk. October will be brush, November will be bulk, December will be brush, and so on and so forth. So in August, your community will be listed either as a first Wednesday community, a second Wednesday, a third Wednesday, or a fourth Wednesday. So you find out. So for example, if you live in Helotes Park Estates, you're on first Wednesday, which means the first Wednesday of every month, brush will be able to be picked up to 12 cubic yards. Now, George alluded to the process. And the process is that you need to call in to C6, let them know that you're going to have brush to pick up, let you know their address, they're going to give you a work order. But you need to call in before 2 p.m. on the day before. You can call a week ahead of time, you can call 2 weeks ahead of time. They know your address, they know your community, and that way you create a work order, and so you know that on the first Wednesday for Helotes Park Estates, Cache Mountain, Monarch, Longhorn, Mountain View, Tower View, etc. All of y'all are on the first week. Paragon, Stagecoach, and Mesquite Flat, and Wagon Pass, they're all on the third Wednesday, for example. So you find your community, and now you know you're either first, second, third, or fourth week of the month. The following month, the same process applies for bulk pickup. If you're a first week community for brush, you will be a first week community for bulk. And again, you would call ahead of time, preferably a couple days or maybe a week advance. Hey, I've got a refrigerator and a bunch of bulk stuff that I need to get rid of. I'm gonna put it out on the curb on Tuesday because they're gonna come around on on Wednesdays for brush and Thursdays for bulk. But it sounds a little bit confusing, but really once you locate and know which week you are, just make sure you call in. Basically, you're making an appointment for them to come out. They're going to point to point. They're not going to drive through. So if you forget to call and put an order in, or you forget it, don't worry about it. You got 2 months later, you'll be able to do brush again. It's not like you missed it for the whole year. So that's one of the advantages we have here.
Yeah, and I'll say, Mayor, we've had some initial calls, but after we explain the process, the folks that we've talked to thus far seem to like it. They seem to appreciate the fact that it's a scheduled base, and that allows them a chance to get their materials out, and they know when it's coming, as opposed to what you said before, having to wait for a week or more. It's on this scheduled basis, and so I think it'll help with the creating some continuity of service for residents here in Helotes.
And once again, bulk, 12 cubic yards, that's a lot of bulk and a lot of brush. It's equivalent, just think of a full grind man, 6 foot tall, 6 foot wide, and 12 feet long. So stand up if you're keep your pile shorter than you are and not as wide, and twice 2 body lengths long, and that's basically your generic envelope for how much brush and how much bulk can be picked up. One of the great benefits of this contract is we're actually going to have hazardous waste disposal. This is actually going to be handled by the city of Helotes right here at City Hall grounds. It is being billed through C6 as at $1.20 per month. They're collecting it. It's a pass-through. It comes to the city of Helotes so that we can pay for hazardous waste disposal. What's going to happen is we're going to have once a year. It's going to start in the springtime of 2023. And it's going to be an opportunity for you to be able to dispose of your oils, your pesticides, your paints, your thinners, all the stuff you're not supposed to put in regular garbage. These are hazardous waste. You can look at batteries, acids, cleaning solutions, these type of things. You'll bring them down. You'll have to show that you are, show your C6 bill so that it shows that you're a resident of Helotes, because we're not going to take hazardous waste from people that are outside of our city. This is a service that you are paying for, and it's going to be solely for the citizens of Helotes. But that will happen. We will notify everybody on social media, perhaps even get something in the quarterly bill, but we will, well in advance, be notifying everybody through our social media, website, emails, hopefully when our constant contact and our new communication sets up next year, you'll be able to log in and have those notifications sent to you automatically. But we are looking for springtime of 2023. So get that in your mind and start looking for notifications come January for a specific date, and we'll look forward to being able to provide this additional service for you. One common question I get is, how come C6 is going to be the only person to be able to provide services? Why can't we contract some other company to come in and do a roll-off container for construction debris? And the answer to that is that due to the nature of municipal contracts, we're allowed by law to be able to do a sole provider based on competitive bid, and they provide a set amount of work. They're guaranteed to cover everybody in the community, but that also gives them the number of households that they can count on, and basically gives us the advantage of bulk pricing. When they know that they're going to have garbage collection of everybody, they can provide the best pricing, and that's how we get the best contract price. Unfortunately, it does leave a little bit of question about, well, why can't I? This is a free country, why can't I get somebody else in? Well, that's the nature of the municipal contract, and it does provide a sole provider solution, but it does give us our best pricing.
Yeah, so like you said, Mayor, it again, this was a bid situation, so the pricing was evaluated by the city staff and by the city council. In doing so, we are able to provide services to the city in an all-encompassing perspective: commercial, construction debris removal for roll-off, residential services. The services, again, as an aggregate, as a pool, are lower than, or were lower than any others that bid on the contract. The other thing that we provide for the city of Helotes is accountability. When you have multiple companies coming into a community, and there is, for example, trash blowing in the streets, or recyclables blowing in the streets, or there's hydraulic fluid in an area or something, then the city knows that there's only one provider to contact to correct the problem. So it gives them, again, the accountability standpoint, and allows us, of course, to respond in kind. Because if we were working with other companies, we wouldn't know if it was our vehicle that was causing the problem or not. So again, it gives the city a means of accountability to get issues resolved in a timely manner. It also allows them to direct informational pieces to us to distribute to the community, which I think is very helpful on their part as well.
And to that end, was just right after I was elected last year, I got a phone call from George about 8 o'clock in the morning saying he was sorry about the incident and they're out there cleaning it up right now. And I said, George, what are you talking about? It turns out they had one truck that was leaking a little bit of fluid. Because there's only one provider, we knew exactly who it was. One of our public works caught it. They notified him, and George and his crew were out there. They cleaned it up. By the time I rolled through at 8:45, it was already cleaned up. So it's not that trucks can't leak, but they are utilizing newer vehicles, so we won't have that problem in the first place. But if for some reason accidents happen or whatever, there is a leak or there is some sort of spillage, there's one company to reach out to get to it, and I can say with 100% assurance, George has provided the type of customer service to make sure that our city stays clean in the event of unfortunate spillage or leakage. So I do appreciate that. You've been tops as far as that goes. Thank you very much.
You're done. Thank you.
A couple of final things, and we'll wrap it up here. One is that we do have a senior citizen discount. You have to apply for that, so go to our website and you can pull up the application for senior citizen discount. It has to be approved by the city. It will be approved. It's just a process, and then we'll notify and you'll get a discount. What is that discount?
I believe it's 5% off the normal monthly bill there.
So that will be, once it's applied, it'll be, you don't have to reapply, it'll be there forever. The final thing I really want to talk about is customer service. So how would somebody go about contacting you, whether it be for questions about brush or bulk or service problems, service-related problems?
Sure. So C6, you have two means of getting in contact with our office. The first is the phone. You can reach us at 210-375-0066. Please understand that our system is a voice automated system, which means you're going to be asked to listen through to a series of prompts and to select the prompt that's applicable to you. If you do not get a live person on the phone, please do not hang up. If you have a concern or if you have a question that you need resolution or answer on, leave a voicemail for us. Our system is designed to record the message. It then emails the message to the appropriate party, who may be on the phone at the time that you called, but they will see your email message. They will listen to your voice message, and then we will return your call then. But if you hang up the phone without leaving a message, we have no way of knowing that you were wanting to call us back. The other way of getting a hold of us is by emailing us at c6@c6disposal.com. So if you have a question that you want to get an answer to, please feel free to email us. We will respond back to emails. We do respond back to voicemails that are left. But again, if we don't have a message to respond to, then unfortunately you're not going to get a call back from us. So please take the time to leave that message. I do apologize if we don't get a person on the phone with you right away, but we do have in some events, in some cases, we experience very high call volume, and we have to get back to that party as soon as we possibly can.
So once again, the phone number is 210-375-0066, or reach them at the email, which is at
c6@c6disposal.com.
c6@c6disposal.com. All right. Well, George, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time and listening to all the new benefits of our waste contract. And if you have any questions, again, please feel free to call C6, or if you need to, reach out here to the city. We'll help you with any questions or assessment of your bills. They appear to be correct, but thank you for your time, and appreciate your support as we go through this transition into this new contract. Please be aware that there is a high call volume coming in right now, as there always is at the beginning of a new contract. So be patient, leave your message, and they will get back to you. It is their top priority to provide best possible customer service, as they have proven to us for the past 17 years, and we look forward to these next 5 years.
Yes, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your
Appreciate
time. Yes, sir.